Hey there, this is Jason Dingus, owner of Quist Machinery. We've been helping the woodworking industry since around 1956, started by Frank Quist Sr. It was bought from him by his son Frank Quist Jr. in 1981, and I bought the business from Frank in 2017. So thanks for spending some time with us today. Today we're going to talk about how you can maximize the investment that you're making in your labor and in your wood. So we're going to start out talking about the Yieldsaver 24, which is a top and bottom planer made by Timesavers, made right here in Minnesota. This machine is going to save you right out of the gate 3 to 8%. We've got a really awesome case study out of a company in West Virginia. It's going to talk to you a little bit about their experiences with it and how well it's gone for them. And then we're going to move into a Widebelt sander, the 1300 series, which is going to be that great fit for a customer who's currently hand sanding and just, with the current labor market that we have available, labor is getting more and more scarce in terms of that skilled labor, that people who know how to really use a jitterbug, know how to use a sander. And so we're going to take that out and put that into an automated machine that's going to get you good, consistent quality. So thanks, and thanks in advance. And please put your questions into the chat. Love to get to those at the end. And if we can't get to them due to time, we will get back to you via email or through the site. So first, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the Yieldsaver 24. Timesavers builds this machine in Minnesota at their factory right up there in Maple Grove. And so it's a great American-made machine. It's a top and bottom planer. And what really makes this machine different and really advanced technology is floating heads. So when you're using a top and bottom planer typically, or a traditional planer, you're referencing off of the platen or that surface. And so what you're getting is not necessarily the best yield out of the wood. To get the best yield out of the wood, what you really need to do is allow it to reference itself in the middle. So you're taking equal amounts, hopefully off the top and bottom, to get that best yield out of it. That's what this machine is doing. So the heads are floating to get the best yield out of that wood to take off the top and bottom at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to see this in action. We've slowed this video down to about half speed so that you can really get a view of what's happening. Here he's obviously inputting the dimension that he wants. He's checking the machine. Is it prepared? Is it ready to go? It's up and running. All right, I'm measuring my wood to make sure I'm going to be able to get enough out of it. It's going to feed it through, and again, that floating head's going to automatically center. The boards are going to kind of center themselves. And what we're going to end up with is somewhere around, versus your traditional planers, 3 to even 8% better yield out of the wood. So this is actually an incredibly easy return on investment calculation, what we call an ROI calculation. So what we do typically when we sit down with a client who's running a lot of lumber, is we ask them, how much? What's this lumber worth to you? And if you're running around $5 million a year worth of lumber, you're going to be able to pay off this machine in 2 years, which may sound like a lot, but with the rising price in wood, that means you're going to pay this machine off even faster with the price of wood going up. You really want to get the most out of it. So let's talk a little bit about how this machine works. You have carbide tipped blades. You guys are probably familiar with that. Shouldn't need to go into that too much. But obviously if you hit a piece of metal or something like that, one of the advantages of this is you don't have to switch out every single knife. You just didn't switch out the one that got damaged. These shoes are going to prevent it from snipping. You're going to expect that 3 to 8% yield savings, and we do have a case study from a customer of ours in West Virginia who can show you exactly how they're doing that and why they've been so excited about this machine. They're running an awful lot of lumber, so they actually paid theirs off in less than a year. You see the footprint of the machine there. If you're interested, we can certainly get you a footprint drawing. And that's that. So if you have any questions about this machine, which I'm sure you do, please put those in the chat. We'll get back to you right at the end of this presentation. So you've just seen a little bit about the Yieldsaver 24. Let's listen from a customer and their experience specifically.
I saw the Timesavers Yieldsaver actually 2 years before I bought it, and I was familiar with the technology. When I saw they brought it out, I knew that's what I wanted, and then I bought two. Our company, Appalachian Wood, actually makes doors and drawer fronts and cabinet framing for the kitchen cabinet industry. Our sales are about 36 million, so we supply a good bit of material, about 40,000 doors a week. We were having cracking issues. The feed system would actually crack the board and break it down, and plus it didn't clean up as well. The cutter heads actually tore the material out some. We actually took a study of the breakage of the boards and tear outs, and we felt we was losing 3% in yield, which if you're talking almost 60,000 board feet going through here, that's a lot of money. The Timesaver has addressed all those problems, really. ROI was based on not having broken boards or tear outs. Both cases, I've had people comment that, boy, we don't see those cracks anymore. We got a good cleanup also because the board is centered, and the old technology was a man-made type of a setup where it took so much off each side of the board. Now this takes equal amount off each side with reducing the tear outs, reducing the cracks of the board. We felt we'd get a 3% yield savings, and I think we've got every bit of that. That's quite an investment. These Yieldsaver, the ROI is about a year. You'll see that we push that machine very hard, and it's been taking it. It's been taking it for 2 years, and we really haven't had a lot of problems after the startup. And of course, American company, they responded well. They've had people here the next day when we called them. The reliability of their service has been great. They've been in the industry a long time, and I have too. So basically, we have a good relationship in that way that I can bounce off and say, hey, I need this for a special operation. Sometimes when you have problems, that's why you pick a company that you can trust. And I've known they've always built a heavy-duty machine.
So I want to talk to you now about Widebelt sanders and why customers come to us looking for a Widebelt. I'm going to start this video. This is a space saver video, and we're going to go through this machine, talk a little bit about it. This is brand new to the Timesavers lineup, and it's been very, very popular, especially for those small to mid-sized shops. And I want to talk about why, and then also understand that we could take a step back from this if you're still sanding by hand. So we're going to let this play. This is basically, we're calling it the bottom top Widebelt sander, or what Timesavers refer to as the space saver, because that's one of the big things that it's saving you is shop space. A lot of customers just hate having to bring the part back through, run it around, and then run it through the same machine on the other side. So what we've done is we've put two machines built on our 2300 series frame, calling this the space saver, and back to back. So first it's going to sand the bottom, and then it's going to sand the top. So the reason why a lot of customers come to us looking for Widebelts is because currently they're sanding by hand. This is very labor intensive. A lot of customers don't have the employees or the skilled labor anymore to get that good sanding by hand anyway. I know in my shop that was a struggle, was finding somebody who really knew how to use that jitterbug or that hand sander. And even me learning how to do it and take the time away from the rest of my day to go do it myself was killing my time. So a Widebelt sander can be incredibly valuable in a small to mid-sized shop. The Timesavers lineup is going to start in those mid-teens. We do have the speed sander, which is a little bit lower, which can be a little bit lower than that. But most of my industrial level manufacturers start with a 1300 series, and which can come in that high teens to less than 30 range, depending on the number of heads, the width of the machine, that type of stuff. So you can see here Gary Vessinen, one of the longtime Timesavers employees, is running a part through. He set the dimensions on the first machine, then he set the dimensions on the second machine, and the part comes out done. It's been run with two different grits on the top and two different grits on the bottom. It's a two-head sander for the top or for the bottom, and then followed by a two-head sander for the top. So what this is going to do is going to save you labor. Obviously, you're not having to bring the parts back around. It's also going to save you space because those two machines are built to go right in line with one another. So let us know if we can help you with this machine. Let us know if we can just help you get away from hand sanding and get you a better quality product and get you better return on the investment of labor that you're already making.
Thank you so much for attending our Timesavers event. Really appreciate you sticking around, and hopefully you saw something that might help you today in your shop or tomorrow in your shop. If you need us, give us a call. Our website, www.quistmachinery.com, brand new. Go check that out, and lots of good value on there as well. And then also feel free to reach out to Timesavers directly should you have any questions there. Again, my name is Jason Dingus. I'm the owner of Quist Machinery. Before I let you go, I wanted to mention a couple things about the hand sanding that we've been going that our customers have been going through recently. Excuse me. A couple reasons why they call us are hand sanding is labor intensive and does oftentimes end up with some different levels of quality. Most manufacturers, most of my customers tell me that they have one sander who's really good, knows what she's doing, very detail oriented, knows the right amount of pressure, the right speed to move the jitterbug. And then they might have a couple of employees who are not quite at that level, but are certainly can do the job. And then they have a fourth one or somebody else that fills in when one of those is missing and the quality drops down or somebody's got to go back and do rework. So I wanted to just mention that that's one of the reasons why automation like Timesavers is going to help you. And they do start in the teens, thousands, the $17,000 range, $15,000 range. So we can get started in a project that's that small. So if you're working with a guy who's an operator who's sanding, even some of the week, these things can pay themselves off really, really quickly. One head, two head. Keep your belt, your grit to somewhere around 50 or less in terms of your jumps. When you go from 80 to 120, you're doing great. You go from 80 to 150, you might be stretching a little bit more and going through the paper a little bit more than you should, making it work a little harder than it should. So think about keeping those grit jumps to 50 or less, and that'll help you out. That's a little tip. And then with the planer, just think about the amount of money that you're spending on wood every year. Multiply that, times 0.03, and then take that number, divide it into the cost of the machine, and that'll tell you exactly how long it's going to take you to pay it off. So how many years it'll take to pay it off. So just a quick, easy, down and dirty ROI. There are some more sophisticated versions that we can show you that we've got here at Quist Machinery. Would like to run your particular product and find out exactly what level of yield savings we're talking about for you. And just let us know, get us that data, and we'll get started on that right away. Again, thanks for attending our event. Really appreciate you attending IWF Connect as a whole. I know this is a little different from our usual Atlanta show, and this was not meant to replace this. This would replace Atlanta. This was really just meant to say, hey, let's give this a shot and see what happens, see if it can help some customers out, and hopefully it's helped you. Give us a call. Our website is www.quistmachinery.com. And thanks again for taking the time.